Oh, welcome back to another Nostalgianomics Live. How is everyone doing on this beautiful Monday afternoon? Already see the chat is wild before I even get in here. Oh man, I didn't even want to make this video, to be honest with you. And so I figured I'll just go live one time. We'll talk about it and then we'll move on with our live. Um, the first thing, right? Before we even get into talking about the actual topic at hand, guys, it doesn't matter what you're buying in this hobby. It doesn't matter if it's singles or slabs, Japanese, English, modern, vintage, which booster box set you're going into. One thing you have to realize about the internet, everyone is going to make a bigger deal out of every single thing that happens. Most people are going to lie about prices they saw or prices they got or how much money they made. And that's just how it's always going to be. It's the internet. You just have to deal with it. So don't buy into it too much. The other thing is, how much difference is any of this making in your lives? Unless you are buying hundreds or thousands of cases of this stuff and making hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, how much are these little ups and downs and changes really affecting you, right? And it goes back to like when people will say like, oh, all you YouTubers are manipulating the market, right? Like people like me and other investment YouTubers, we're all manipulating the market. If it wasn't for us, prices wouldn't go up. Like, yeah, bro, because prices weren't going up for the 7 years or whatever I was in the hobby, but wasn't on YouTube, or someone like Alpha Investments who's been investing in this stuff for decades now, and steel products been climbing every step of the way in all these different hobbies. But yeah, now all of a sudden, in the last few years, that a lot of people have YouTube channels. Now we're the issue. That's why things move up. It's like, how is it that when I got back in the hobby in 2015, how in the world was a base set booster box $800 when everything was supposedly dead in the hobby for the last 15 years? And then how from 1999 to 2015 in 16 years did a base set booster box go up 10x, 1,000%, when the S&P 500 went up maybe 300%, if that. And it's just like, to act like any of this stuff's new or any of it's like manipulated, it's kind of crazy, right? But before I even get to the topic at hand, let's pay attention to the chat. I never pay attention to you guys in the beginning, and I'm gonna see what's going on in the chat. Oh, this is good. Next gen art, perfect. Alex banning members on his Discord now if they call him out for his cabalish ways of behavior. We've come in full circle now, shaking my head. So as you guys know, I've cleaned up the Discord, and the Discord is no longer what it used to be, with people getting personal attacked and dogpiling on people. And it was really like to a place where no one wanted to voice their opinions. And next gen art, I warned you multiple times, man, and you just kept wanting to pick fights. You're always welcome back if you want to reach out and say you're not going to do this stuff. But it's not going to have it on there, right? Like the other day, someone else was complaining about a store owner who, canceled his orders on the 151 because he got screwed over from Japan, and trying to bash him. And I knocked that out, banned them. They apologized, so they wouldn't do it, let him back in. I'm just not having it. We're not going to attack people. We're not going to start fights. If you have legitimate facts or legitimate things you want to discuss, great. But we're not going after people or trying to say like things about them. It's not going to happen. So next gen, you can reach out to me, man. If you want to not do that stuff, we're all good. But it's just not going to happen on Discord, guys. It's a free Discord. There's millions of other Discords out there you can go to. It's not like this right that everyone has to like be it. It's just like, look, if you want to talk Pokemon and talk, any type of data and facts and market, what's going on in the market. But as soon as you start saying something about a person, I'm just going to snuff it out right there. It's not going to happen. Simple as that. Is this Pokemon cards or crypto? The volatility is crazy. Yeah, you would start to think that at this point, wouldn't you? Greg, thanks for becoming a member, man. Or you're probably renewing your membership, right? You've been a member already. Appreciate you, man. And yeah, just people talking about prices they got 151 or didn't get it at or wish they would have got it. Ponga's asking me to manipulate the market. That's what we do here, man. What do you think I have a YouTube channel for? If I can't use it to manipulate the market, why am I even making videos, right? That's the whole reason we do this. Do you think prices will come back down? I do. We'll get into that. Japanese 151 is better than English 151. You know what? I don't even like disagree with that. I mean, I don't like it more. I like to be able to read my cards, which I think most people do. But it all comes down to booster boxes. If English 151 was a booster box set, I would probably disagree. But we are going through an era where people just don't like ETBs and UPCs that much. I mean, we're now 2 eras deep now with no ETBs performing that well, right? I mean, Champion's Path is just around $100. Celebrations is $80. There's no other ETBs in the last 2 eras that have really over doubled, and it's kind of starting to show a market trend no matter how strong a set is. I mean, Crown Zenith, very strong set. So I am a little worried about that. And we can talk about that too. But yeah, I mean, Reforge, I'd have to agree with you on that. Let's see. So you small fish about the reprints. I'm waiting for people to kind of get in here. I know there's 128 people. I'll wait a little longer, then I'll get into the main subject, but I will take a few more questions. So on these reprints, Rudy Alpha Investments made a really good video. If you guys want to watch that, I think it was released yesterday or day before. I mean, Rudy's always spot on with what he says, right? It's why he is who he is. But here's the one thing you have to realize about reprints, right? Is just because something gets reprinted, one, you don't know how much is going to get reprinted, and two, you don't know where prices are going to fall. And one of the things Rudy said, which I 100% agree with, is the $75, $80 booster boxes that we saw, last year during Christmas or Black Friday time when things were crashing. That was it. That was the bottom. Like that, if you're wondering where the bottom was or is, that was the bottom, right? And so just like we saw with Silver Tempest and Lost Origin, they didn't crash down in the 80s and 90s. They held strong in the hundreds. And I think a lot of that is going to happen when if remember, it's an if, everyone, don't listen to anyone who claims to have that they have the answers. No one's got the answers what Pokemon's going to do. There's a very real possibility there could be some Scarlet Violet sets that never see a reprint. I'm not saying that. I'm expecting, it's kind of like plan for the worst, expect the best. I'm expecting everything to get reprinted, but if some sets don't, that's it, right? And so if Paldea Evolved gets reprinted, it's when and how much. Maybe Paldea Evolved rises to 140, 150 a box, then it gets reprinted and it falls to 100, 110, because here's the thing you have to worry about, understand about the market, right? Just like with Japanese 151. When the market sentiment, right, is in the beginning, it's, I'm not buying. No, I'm waiting for the reprints. I don't want to get in too early. It's dead money, right? Everyone's waiting. When a reprint does happen, even if Pokemon does another reprint or could do another reprint, that's not important. What's important is the market sentiment. The market is then going to say, okay, Paldea Evolved had its reprint. Now is the time to move in. And that amount of money moving in at that point, that will probably be enough to hold steady and not have it drop down in the 80s like we used to see. And so, yes, there could be a reprint come on these Scarlet Violet sets, but it matters how strong and how much they appreciate in the meantime. And it matters how many people are waiting to jump in when those reprints happen. And you might not see as low prices as you think. That's why I'm always a big fan of, even if it's a new set, of moving in if the set is in. If you can find boxes in the 80s, I still think it's a good time to move in because there's a good chance those boxes will never see the 80s again, even if a reprint happens in the future. Not saying it's not impossible, but there's a good chance it doesn't happen like we've seen with other reprints in the past. So hope that answers your question, you small fish. I'm not buying any more Paldea right at the moment. Actually, I lied. I did just buy a case of Paldea, but I'm using it for breaks, but just because I don't want to open my Paldea. So all my Paldea that I have, I'm holding all of it. I'm not selling it. That's where it's at. Let's see. Yeah, Ray, there was lots changed in the Discord, man. Guys, here's the thing. Like, if you guys want to talk about the Discord, first of all, if anyone knows, I have a Patreon. It's a $10 a month paid service. There's multiple videos. You have 100% email access to me for any questions. And there is a private Discord server without all the madness. Because even after I've toned it down, there's still a lot of madness in there. It's more just like relevant talk. And you do get 10% off the pack breaks too on Thursdays, which, is kind of worth it in and of itself right there. And there will be other things added. But the whole thing about the Discord is I like the idea of free speech, right? And that's why I let it get to where it was. The issue I was having was it started to reflect badly on me because people would find my channel, they would join the Discord, and they would just get wrecked and like, you know, ganged up on, and ended up like unsubbing my channel, sending me emails or messages or DMs, like nasty ones, telling me about like how bad it is that I have a place like that, and I would allow that in the community, and I had to take action, right? There's always going to be people that feel like you took too much action or not enough action. There's no way to get it right, right? I mean, whenever there's any form of censorship in any way, there's never going to be a way to get it right, right? It's just the way it is. But I had to take a stand and say, I need something that's best for the masses, right? And not what suits the few people that want to get in there and talk ridiculous every day. And so people who didn't, I gave everyone chances, second chances. Anyone I banned, I unbanned and gave them another chance. They apologized, gave everyone as many chances as I could, but just not going to tolerate attacking anyone. And for a while, I let people, you know, still attack me. And I'm just like, look, I'm not dealing with this either. Like, we're keeping it on Pokemon. You're not going to get in here and just come in to just like talk bad about people or businesses or any of that. Like, if you want to keep it on topic, you're free to come back. And that's just kind of how the Discord is, man. You know, you speak your mind, but keep it on topic and no personal attacks. It's pretty simple. Let's see. All right. Let's just let's go ahead and get started, guys. I'll try to come back and get more of this later. Hold on, I want to take this. Orion Cyrus announced a big Sword and Shield play as Battle Styles. He just bought 7 cases. Bring him on to answer for his crimes. Kidding aside, it's really funny because Orion has actually been pretty negative on Modern. He's even come out in videos saying that you should sell certain things and put it into Vintage. So it is interesting to hear that he's buying Modern Seal. I mean, guys, Dan, Catch 'em All Collectibles, go look at his new video. He's all in now. I mean, he's making videos about Pokemon investing, showing all the investments he has now. I mean, it's complete 180, man. Like, you know, from someone who only talked about Pokemon product in terms of inventory to come full circle and become a full-time, you know, full-scale investor. It's pretty cool to see. It's pretty nice to see. All right, let's go ahead and talk about it, guys. So, what's going on in the Japanese market? So, I've talked to multiple people that have multiple stores. They have, you know, they're full-time Japanese sellers. They have direct relationships with suppliers. And I've talked to multiple of them, and I feel like I have a good understanding of what's going on. There's always going to be some rumors, but I feel like I've squashed a lot of the rumors and got to, you know, exactly what's going on. Again, could be wrong. Things can change. So what happened is Japan had a lot of product dumped from backstock or, you know, so things that Pokemon Center was just trying to get rid of, right? Or Pokemon Company. It was not the reprint. Everyone I've heard talk, it was not the reprint. Okay. When that started happening and products started to hit the market, it caused a lot of other people to panic who were holding large amounts of 151 and start dropping their prices drastically, right? And so what happened was a lot of the Japanese sellers and suppliers and stores offered products to a lot of the American, you know, US sellers, other sellers, maybe in other countries, at agreed upon lower prices. So let's just take an arbitrary number. They're going to sell it to everyone here at $60 a box. Okay. At that time, these stores started to make listings on their sites and selling the product before they had it. Okay. So they made listings for, you know, $69.99, $79.99, whatever it may be. And they were pre-selling the product because they had confirmed orders at a confirmed price at that price. They made all their orders, sold out, whatever it may be. Japanese sellers changed their mind. They said, no, we're actually going to sell it to you at a higher cost now. So now the stores are all screwed and they're having to make a decision. Do we honor the prices we sold to our buyers at and just take the loss, eat the loss and move on? Or can some people not, you know, stomach that, or they can't even afford that? And this is kind of one of the topics of the discussions in my Discord, in which I had to shut people down and make some bans, is because there's other people, there's smaller sellers in my Discord that they canceled some orders. And here's the thing, guys, you can't judge people on one event, right? you don't know everyone's personal financial, life. You don't know what's going on in their life, their family, like their financial situation. Look, if you're just starting out in this business and, you have literally a confirmed, in writing, confirmed order, like signature, whatever it may be, and then you sell based on that and they screw you over. I mean, sometimes you can't eat, thousands of dollars in losses, and you have to refund those orders back to your customers. It's not that you're trying to get some free tendies or get one over on them or like trying to mark it up more and create more profit. It's no, they literally could not eat the losses they were going to have to take. That's all this was. And the bigger stores, right, they did the right thing. And they said, okay, we're going to stand by our pricing. We're going to eat the losses and we're just going to move on, which is great. The issue is it's not everyone is financially able to do that. And, that stores that have established businesses for years and they've got money put away, or they've got other items that are selling. They got a bunch of income. So it's just like a write-off to them. And so that's what's going on right now. Okay. And so from everyone I've talked to, like not the rumors and all the BS you hear on YouTube and Discords, from everyone I talked to, this was not the reprint. The reprint is forthcoming. Okay. Take it for what it is. Not trying to give any false information. That's all I've heard. I don't have any first-hand knowledge, just from people I've talked to that own large stores that have relationships with Japan distributors, Japan stores, whatever it may be. Okay. There it is. I personally, my opinion, expect the prices to drop. If you're holding on to 151, I'm not trying to hurt your position. I'm not trying to hurt your investment. I'm not telling you to dump it, right? There's a good chance it goes back down and jumps right back up again. I feel like this is sort of like what's happening with One Piece and Star Wars and things like that is Pokemon Japan is just not printing enough product to meet the supply the way the English is. A lot of people want to look at English and say, Alex, English isn't moving. It's worse. It's like, guys, English is still selling more than Japanese. English product sells more than Japanese, meaning if English were to ever cut their print runs to meet like what a One Piece is doing, or even like Japanese, it's like, do you realize how fast you see what we saw during the boom? You see Vivid Voltage go to $200, right? You see Hidden Fates go to $300 and something in ETB. You see Battle Styles go to 200. Like, do you guys understand what would happen if English stopped printing enough to meet the demand and started doing what these other companies are doing? That's what people don't understand is it's not that Pokemon English isn't performing. It's they're printing enough product so the market doesn't do these stupid things. And so that's what's going on is they're just not printing enough. Now, I'm speculating they're going to print enough with this next wave because that's the kind of company that Pokemon is. They want to meet the demand. They don't want this to happen like Bandai is wanting to with One Piece, even though they've never wanted this in the past. Bandai apparently wants it now because they've got tired of failing at card games. So they said, okay, we're not going to print them to the ground anymore. And so that's pretty much what I see happening with the Japanese side of things is I do think we're going to get a reprint. I do think prices are going to drop. I don't know what they're going to drop to. I don't know how long they're going to stay there, all that jazz. But here's the other thing you have to realize. Japan is in sort of a recessionary times, okay? The Japanese total market bubble has popped, right? The waifus going for tens of thousands of dollars, every box going to the moon, all that stuff. The Japanese market's in a downturn. All the other boxes, a lot of the other sets, they're not selling that well. And they're not selling for good margins. And so this is like the one, all in play that they have a for sure opportunity to make good income on this product. And they want to take full advantage of that because they know all these other products aren't selling well. They're not, the good times are over. If we want to have that good big score, it's going to be this 151 set. And so there's a good chance, they do keep it marked up pretty high. And, because they want to, cash in as much as they can. Now, there's always the big guys, right? Big guys want to crush the little guys. That's why you see eBay, when things get pre-released, things get released, everyone races to the bottom because all the big guys want to squeeze out all the small stores. They don't even care if they don't even make profit, even make just a % profit. They don't care. That's their way of squeezing out all the small sellers. It's how business works, guys, right? I mean, a big company learns how the small company makes something. They do it cheaper. They outsource it to another country. They use cheaper parts, cheaper materials. They cut everything way down and maybe even take losses. That way they can sell it for less, squeeze the other company out. That store closes down and then a Walmart moves into town, right? And that's just the way that things work in business. And so there's a chance that some of the very large Japanese sellers, they want to, squeeze out all the people trying to get the free tendies and drop the price real low. And that way they can get all the business and force everyone else to compete with them. So there's that chance, right? But no, guys, if I'm not against 151, I've been against it from the past, I don't know, year, I guess, or whatever it's been released, because everyone was trying to act. And here's the thing, all the people that were bragging and talking about how great it was, and they were buying in the 140s, 160s, and 180s, 200, and they were all talking about how stupid everyone else is for not doing this. Where are all those people? They're never going to admit their wrongs. They're never going to come out and say, yeah, I got it wrong. They're just going to be the same people. Maybe they'll create new screen names and they'll be like, hey guys, this is a buy. We got to get back on this, buy this. It's like, guys, you never know who is right, who's wrong in this stuff, because everyone's, always saying a million crazy things. But yeah, I mean, there's a good chance that this is going to do well in the future. There's just no telling it how low it's going to drop, how long it's going to stay at those lows or in like a lower trading range. I mean, guys, there is a possibility that this just has so much demand and they don't print enough and it jumps back up and it's in the mid hundreds in the next month, 2 months, 3 months. Here's the thing though, to be objective about this, to get out of all the FOMO, there is a world, there is a world where this box stays under $100 for the foreseeable future, for a good while. If Pokemon drops enough product on the market and enough people get panicked, enough people get fed up, because here's the thing, everyone's just chasing free tendies, right? They're chasing it with crypto. Crypto's now not pumping like it was, so they're coming back and they're chasing it here. The brand new English sets get released. They're all buying out the single cards and pushing those to the moon. Everyone is just chasing these free tendies and they're manipulating here and here and here and here. And it's just the market we're in. You're just gonna have to deal with it. I mean, I get people don't like it, and you can blame me, blame this person, blame that person. It's where we're at. You can either play into it or not, but I will say it is definitely a very mass speculation right now on the Japanese 151, because no one knows how much is coming. No one knows how the market's going to react. And so that's why even when people ask me, like, so Alex, I'm like, look, man, I don't know if it's going to perform better or worse. But for me, I'm looking at Lost Origin Brilliant Stars, and I'm still saying I think it's a better play. And people are going to say, Alex, you're so stupid. And even in a month or 2 or 3 months, if I'm wrong, right? I'll be wrong, but it's still a safer play, right? Because they're not getting any more reprints, right? Once it sells out at Pokemon Center, it's going to do the Fusion Strike Chilling Rain thing and jump to $200+. And so remember what investing is. If you want to be a speculator and you want to be a trader or a flipper and you want to play that game, great. Just remember what investing is. Investing is limiting your downside risk while still being able to maximize your upside potential. You cannot tell me you're limiting your downside risk buying boxes at $110 when the MSRP is $40. You can't tell me that on a brand new set. And anyone who's trying to say that they're just speculators. It just is what it is. And so that's where I think we're at with everything, guys. I mean, I think it could be a good play. I think there's, grading plays that can be good plays. I think there's single plays. I think you can get in sorcery and make big plays. I think you can do well in One Piece. There's plays everywhere. But if you're talking about, taking the investment strategy like Warren Buffett would say, right, is just don't lose. Warren Buffett always says, the biggest thing you can do is don't take losses. Don't take losses. You can't afford to take losses when you're growing wealth. And so I always err on the side of caution. That's why I'm buying cases of Scarlet and Violet for like $85 a box, not $88 a box, whatever I can find it for, because the downside risk is so low. People will say, well, Alex, there's better plays. I'm sure there are. There's better plays everywhere. But in terms of better investments where your downside risk is low and your upside potential is great, there's not much better out there because there's not many other things out there that have that low of a risk profile. And so that's my opinion on the whole thing, guys. Let's just end it with this. Go buy 151 if you want. Go get it. If you like it that much, and it does drop dollar cost average into it, if it does take a while to move, hold it 3 to 5 years, who cares, right? Just go do it. Here's the thing though, again, everyone, there's almost 250 people in here. There's maybe a few thousand people that'll watch this video. There's multiple thousands of people that will watch other people's videos. At the end of the day, just remember, 3, 5, 10, 20, 50,000 people watching a video is a small, minor amount, okay? Because of those 50,000, a lot of the people just have it on as background noise. A lot of people are just being entertained. They want to get their mind off work. A lot of the people are hate watching. Some of the people agree, and then a very small amount of the people are actually taking action. And of those people taking action, a portion of them are lying at how big of positions they actually have. That's the truth. As much as everyone doesn't like to hear it, that's the truth, right? The people talking all this big game, they probably got like 5 boxes at home, and they're talking like they have two pallets, right? It's like people make this like it's life or death, like it's life-changing money. And for some people out there, it may be. But for a lot of people, it's a difference of a few $100s. It's a difference of a few $1,000s. I mean, and that goes back to the whole manipulation thing. People like think I have like this plan or this agenda to manipulate things. Guys, even if I take large positions I have, let's say I have, 10 cases, all right, of Brilliant Stars, and I manipulate it from 170 to 250, right? And I make $70 a box times, what is that? 60 boxes. Well, I mean, here, what is that? 40? Is that $4,200? Let me make sure that my math's right on that. All right, 70 times 60 boxes. Yeah, $4,200. And I manipulate. I make $4,200. Yes, guys, this is not life-changing money here. Everyone is acting like all these, like trying to manipulate the sealed market with the positions that I or a lot of these people have is like, we're all getting rich, guys. All these people talking big game, most of them are not getting rich. I talk about it all the time. Everything is inflated online. Why do you think every video you see always has sales, right? Why does everyone always talk about sales? Or why does everyone always talk about, percent gain, right? It's always percent gain or sales. You know why? Because when you take the percent gain and you dig down to how many actual dollars it was, it's usually not that much. When you take that sales number and you take all the expenses out of it, and the product costs and everything that goes with it, and you get down to the actual realized gains and profits, it's a whole lot smaller number. That's the truth. So don't get too wrapped up in all the BS you hear online and everyone trying to inflate their numbers and how well they're doing. And they're all millionaires living in freaking beachfront mansions, driving Ferraris. It's not happening. It's just not happening. And so that's where we are. That's where we are in the hobby right now, guys. Everyone, keeps asking me, well, Alex, what are you going to do? If the reprint comes and the prices do drop really low, maybe I'll get some. Here's, guys, I already told you, I'm not a Japanese guy. I don't collect the stuff. I like stuff I can read. When it comes to investing, you got to keep your emotions out of it. So yeah, if it drops down in the 50s and 60s and I can get a good amount of supply of it, I'll definitely move in because at that price, the risk to reward ratio is so positively geared, right? I'm not moving in at $1,300 a case though. It still doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, maybe it'll do well, but here's the thing, guys. If you're buying in at $120 a box, let's say, or $110 a box, it's got to get to $220, $240 to double. I still would bet with you there's going to be a lot of other things in the market right now that you can double your money. Here, perfect example. I am 80 to 100% up on a ton of my alt arts that I bought in the last 1 to 2 months. That I bought 30 to 60 days ago. I'm way more up on my alt art PSA 10s right now than anyone is in the Japanese 151. I'll tell you that right now. Like, it just is what it is. And so there's a lot of plays out there. Like, there's a good chance that Lost Origin and Brilliant Stars, if they go out of stock tomorrow in the Pokemon Center, there's a good chance that they could outperform 151 for the rest of this year. Like, these are very real possibilities people don't like to talk about. There are other plays out there. Okay? Perfect. Oh, another one. I mean, Paldea Evolve, you been paying attention to that? The cases are now selling at $650. They were $480 a case back at Black Friday. Why aren't we talking about that? Why aren't we talking about, Paldea Evolved, like moving up that much? A brand new Scarlet and Violet says everyone hates Scarlet and Violet, blah, blah, blah. I mean, no one likes to talk about that because everyone's so focused on the flavor of the week. Everyone talks about one thing, and then they all talk about another thing, and then we all move to another thing. And it's just like this big flavor of the week thing, when in reality, there's moves happening all across the market at all times. And honestly, getting ahead of those moves is where the real money's made. It's not playing into the moves. So that's what I got, guys. Let's see what you guys are saying. I want to hear from the chat. I want to hear from all the wild, crazy folks in the chat. By the way, 260 of you in here in the middle of the day on a Monday. Guys, let's just stop right there. I'm truly grateful. Like, I'm really grateful that you guys take time out of your day, come to listen to me. Even if some of you are here just to hate on me, I appreciate you guys too. But for most of you guys, I mean, just thanks for being here. You know, it's it makes all this a lot more worth doing and everything, and knowing that it is helping and you guys do get value out of it. So I appreciate everyone being here. And you don't even have to do the whole thumbs up the video, subscribe. You don't even got to do that. I just appreciate you guys being here listening. You don't got to do anything. Just leave it. Don't lift a finger. Just sit back, relax. We'll have a good time. All right. What is going on? Yeah, I see people talking about PokeNE. I'll be honest with you guys. I've been afraid to reach out to Brian. I don't know. I know he deleted his video about his 100K in sales. And I know, you know, all this stuff going on with the canceled orders. I don't even want to reach out to him because I don't want to have to make him have that conversation if it is not like a good conversation to have right now. I don't know where he's at mentally, or if he's doing good or bad, or if he's taking losses with all this. So I haven't even reached out to him. So I don't really know what's going on with everything. It's possible everything's good, right? I just don't know. I just don't know. And I don't want to be that guy. Like, you know how it is. Like, when something goes wrong, you don't want to be that guy to call your friend and be like, hey man, so, you know, I saw, you know, whatever it may be, right? Like, and so I just, you know, I don't want to do that. Anthony says, thanks for educating me on sealed investing. I wanted to ask, should I buy cases or single booster boxes? What are the pros and cons of cases? It depends on your budget, right? Everyone's budget's different. If you have the money, cases, let me be careful here. Cases are the way to go if you can get them in the beginning when they're selling at a discount or the same price as booster boxes. Once they age and there's what's known as a case premium, meaning people are paying more for the sealed case than what 6 booster boxes would go for, I would stay away from that. You don't want to be paying case premiums. You want to be taking case premiums when you sell. And so I would say if you can afford it, you know, it makes sense to buy the cases at release or after release on newer sets, because there are case premiums that people like to pay for whatever reason, like it or don't. It is what it is. But yeah, if it's ages, like right now, like I wouldn't pay like what is a Fusion Strike case going for, like $1,700-$1,800. I'd rather just buy 6 boxes, right? Because it just doesn't make sense. All right. Still don't think it was the reprints with Japanese resellers offing hoarded stock to drive demand and get ready for the reprint stock in May. Yes, I agree with this. That goes along with everything I've heard so far. Do you think they're going to reprint 151, then Paradox, Paldean, Face? Okay, here's the thing, guys. Let's talk about this for a second. That's a good question, Greg. So reprints, everyone's always like, it's always the top of everyone's, you know, question. Everyone's always worried about reprints. You know, I'm waiting for the reprints. When reprints come, it's going to kill everything. Reprints. All right. Here's one thing you have to understand, right? Pokemon, they pay attention to the secondary market, contrary to what everyone else out there thinks. They definitely pay attention. They know part of the whole hobby is players, kids, whatever. They need the cards to be accessible and relatively inexpensive and playable and all that stuff. They also know, Pokemon knows the majority of this hobby is collectors, and it's ran by collectors. And they know if they do what Bandai and a lot of these other card companies have done for years and absolutely kill the print runs and diminish any value in the cards, people will leave. The collectors will leave. People won't invest. It will die, right? And so they have to walk this line to where it's still affordable, but they don't kill it to where people know that don't have any value and there's no reason to collect it and chase it. And so here's the thing. When you look back at sets like a Hidden Fates or during the boom sets like Vivid Voltage ETBs and Shining Fates ETBs, Darkness Blaze ETBs, they didn't reprint those when they weren't selling. They didn't reprint those because the price wasn't rising. They printed it because the price was rising and it was selling too well and too expensive, right? For those of you that don't know, Vivid Voltage ETBs were $80 to $100. Shining Fates ETBs were $100 plus. Darkness Ablaze got up to like $120 to $150 in ETB. Hidden Fates was $350, $330 in ETB, okay? Those were all extremely expensive very quickly out the gate. Pokemon reprinted them, and it was at a bad time. It was when the boom was ending and demand was going down. They put way too much supply, and Pokemon got it wrong. They oversupplied it. They didn't read the demand and didn't read where the market trends were going. They put way too much product on the market, and it killed it and kept it stagnant, right? Crown Zenith. Crown Zenith was already like a $65, $70 ETB. After like a year or less time, Pokemon reprinted it. So when you're looking at things like Paldea and Fates, Pokemon is not going to reprint a product that is still selling for sub $40 or around $40 in ETB. And if that continues for the next year, year and a half, there's a very real likelihood they don't reprint it. Scarlet Violet base set, it's still about $90 a booster box over a year after it came out. There's a chance Pokemon does not reprint that. They're not going to throw more product on a market where one, distributors still have it, and two, the open market is still at $90. There's no reason to reprint it. If they do it, it'll just crush it into nothingness. Pokemon's not going to do that. The sets they will reprint are the ones that rise in price and become if they feel too expensive, right? A lot of times that's somewhere around MSRP, over MSRP, in too short amount of a time while it's still in rotation, still in that first 2 to 3 years. And so Paldea, if it keeps rising the way it is, it'll get there. English 151, if it keeps rising the way it is, it's going to get there. Those are the two sets right now that look the most prime for reprints. Paradox is still low, right? Temporal Force is brand new. It's too new to tell. But like, all I'm trying to say is, guys, I'm not trying to tell you to like FOMO buy in. Alex said they're not going to reprint it. All I'm saying is there is a world where some of these Scarlet Violet sets do not get reprinted. We're not living in 2021 anymore. We're not in the times where everything gets a reprint because we have to, because there's so much demand and everything's rising in price after it gets released. We're not in those times anymore. And Pokemon's still trying to figure out how much product to print to meet the amount of demand on the market and still keep the products accessible while not being too expensive, but not being completely crushed into the ground, worthless. And so, yeah, I think 151 and Paldea Evolved will most likely have reprints if it keeps continuing like this. And guys, both sets that I own, I'm talking against myself right now, right? It's not like I'm hoarding like Scarlet Violet base and Paldea and Fates and like saying, oh, those aren't getting reprints, guys, stock up on them and I'm going to make a fortune. It's like, again, going back to the whole like thing. Let's say I got 10 cases of Paldea and Fates ETBs in the basement, right? 10 cases at $350 a case. That's $3,500. If they double, I'm going to make $3,500. Oh, I'm rich. Never got to work again. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't have a reason to pump this stuff up. I'm not set to make tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Just telling you what I think. Do you think buying out a particular single, like we've seen in Temporal Forces, is a legitimate business move or scummy? Been a hot topic this month. It is a bit of an issue, right? Here's the thing, though. Someone's going to do it. Someone's going to do it. Whether you like it or not, it's going to happen. So you being an investor, flipper, speculator, understanding this market trend and you buying some to play into that and make a profit, is it wrong? Is it? I mean, was it wrong for people to buy into GameStop on the way up to make profits? I mean, it goes into that moral discussion, which everyone's going to have a different answer. I mean, I've already given you my opinion on all these topics. The only things I think are wrong in this hobby is if you lie, cheat, steal, right? If you actually scam somebody, send them an item they didn't actually order, reseal a product, try to do some fishy stuff on a live stream and switch packs and take their hits. If any actual scam, but like mystery packs, mystery boxes, nothing. I don't think anything wrong with it. Playing into market moves, predicting market moves, I don't see anything wrong with it. That's just me, right? Unless you're doing anything illegal and actually wrong. I mean, I think it's kind of, this is a hobby. I mean, this is a market, right? And speculation happens. So playing into speculation, it is, because it's not a sure thing. It's not a sure thing that every card is going to get pumped, right? You might be in the card that gets crushed, right? So if there's a risk of you losing money, I mean, hey, you're taking a gamble. It is what it is. The online investment community is degenerate. I guess I kind of fall into that community. So, Mr. Degenerate here. Glad to meet you. For here, it's free speech till it affects you. It's not me though, right? Like it affects everyone. And I have a responsibility, right? As the creator that created the Discord community, anyone who finds my channel, right? And understands my channel is a nice inclusive place. I don't talk, vulgar. I don't attack people personally. And they see that as my like brand or my image. And then they join something that's a branch of me and it's completely different in there and they get turned off to me and everything about me and my channel because of that. That's when it becomes an issue, right? Just like the example I gave. People are attacking card shops that I have no affiliation with. I mean, I know them from the Discord, but I'm not like friends with them, like, outside of Pokemon, like people that I really don't know. I shut that down. It had nothing to do with me. It's just, I'm not going to have that type of stuff happening in my Discord, right? If you want to talk Pokemon and talk different mentalities and different ideologies and investing, as soon as it becomes any sort of directed at you as a person and not the subject at hand, it's too far. It's too far at that point. It's getting shut down. And that's how it's going to stay. So again, I tell everyone the same thing. If you don't like it, I can send you a list of 10 other Discords that are free that you can go join. It's that simple. There's tons of them out there. You don't got to be in this one. Let's see. Oh, Dan, yeah, guys, don't read too much into the whole Dan catch 'em all collectibles thing. Look, I'm friends with Dan. We give each other crap. Like it's all it is. But no, Dan's put away Modern Sealed for years. He's always referred to it as inventory, right? Because he's a business. He never wanted to say it was an investment out of whatever reason, just to spite me or to like spite. I don't know, just whatever he wanted. He never wanted to call it an investment. And so I have to give him crap now that he's actually coming out and using the investment word instead of the long-term inventory word. Because it's like him admitting that he's putting money into Pokemon instead of the S&P 500 or mutual funds or all these safe investments that he used to talk about that he still has money in. But like a lot of people, just if you call Pokemon an investment, that now means that you've decided to put money there instead of the stock market, real estate, somewhere else, as a legitimate place to grow your money. And so that's all it is. That's why I give him crap about it. But no, there's nothing more to read into there. That was it. Japanese distributors do not exist. Mason, what's up, man? It's all the stores and other sellers that are backdooring this stuff, and they are going to chase the money. Pretty much what's happening. Spectral Dave, Arceus V-Star UPCs are way too cheap. I thought those were the ones that went up a lot recently. I could be wrong, but I don't know about those being too cheap. I think those had a massive run up in the. I'll pull them up right now live since we're live and see. I'm pretty sure I made a video about those though. Let me see. I'm pretty sure I made a video. All right, Ultra Premium Collection. Let's see. Yeah, they're like, dude, they're like $140. They're $140, and like 6 months ago, they were selling for $93. That's like a 50% move. I mean, hey, just saying something went up doesn't mean it's overvalued, but that's a big move in a short amount of time. So, I mean, I'm more inclined to hold something like that longer and less inclined to buy in at that valuation type thing. That's just me. Yeah, I mean, this is what people don't understand, right? Like time to musk up. The card values of Japanese 151 will 100% drop. There's no doubt, right? Whenever you introduce a ton of new supply on the market and now it's cheaper, all the pack rippers, everyone who opens Japanese packs on every single platform, TikTok, eBay Live, whatnot, YouTube, Twitch, they're all going to be opening it in mass right now, which is going to have an influx of those singles in the market. Every single will drop. Just like in English, if English 151 gets reprinted, all those singles are going to drop too. It's the nature of the beast. It's the name of the game, right? The only way singles, or you could see a single hold value is if the print quality is atrocious again. The PSA 10s could hold value because they're so hard to attain, but that's it, right? Everything else, it's going to drop. And so that usually does spell trouble for the boxes if the boxes aren't scarce enough to hold their value on their own, just being the sealed product, which that's usually the case in the long term. But the short term, it's just got so much downward pressure. You have a ton of new product getting dumped in the market. You have people competing with each other. The singles are going to get devastated. That's why I personally see the boxes dropping. But hey, if you have a different opinion than me, put your money where your mouth is. We'll see who comes out in the end. And that's fine. And I'm okay being wrong. I say this all the time, guys. I am okay. I am so much more okay with missing out on things than I am getting in and getting caught in things. Same thing with One Piece. I was okay getting into One Piece 80, 100, even 120 a box, right? Because I know I'm not going to get caught too bad usually. I'm not okay buying $200 booster boxes because there's a chance I get caught and it drops to $100 and it takes years just to get back to $200 just so I can break even and have money sitting there. So I don't want to get caught, right? I'd rather put money places where I feel a lot safer, a lot less downside risk. And so that's me, right? Because I'm at a different stage in life though. People who are, maybe have less money, they want to try to get ahead quicker. It might be the right thing to take higher risk, higher reward. I get it. It's just, it isn't right for me. I don't want to be buying into brand new boxes at $110, $120 a box when the MSRP is $40. That'd be like buying into a brand new English box at $150 or $180 at release. Not doing it. Just not doing it. I'm not avoiding it, Adam. It just depends on what price range it gets to. If it gets down to a price where I feel the risk is so low, I will buy some for sure. Yeah, because I do believe in the set. I don't really believe in a lot of other Japanese product right now, but I do because I just feel like it has a lot of similarities to the vintage bubble of 2021, where we may never see those highs again. Like some of the highs you saw in the Japanese market in the past year or two, you may never see those again on a lot of those cards and boxes. It's the truth. Vintage base set box, base set booster boxes were selling for $30,000 in 2021. Okay. They're still in the teens, right? They dropped down in the teens. They're still in the teens 4 years later, 4 years later, right? They're not going anywhere. There's a possibility, a very real possibility, a base set PSA 9 Charizard will never sell for $7,000 again. It might never happen again. There's a chance that the first edition Jungle Pikachu PSA 10 will never sell for the prices it saw during the boom. Like, and that's the thing. Like, there's a good possibility a lot of those vintage highs you saw during the boom will never happen again. And that's where I feel like a lot of the Japanese market got to during this bubble is we may never see some of the highs that some of these boxes saw ever again because they went up. They got over exacerbated. They got over pumped up, right? It wasn't regular market moves. It wasn't regular demand. It was people chasing the free tendies. It was manipulated up just like everything was back in 2021. And so can new sets do good? Sure. I'm really hesitant of anything that was out during the boom ever, the people that always say, well, buy when it's low, right? That's terrible advice. That is the worst advice going around in any investment community. Buy when things drop, but buy when there's blood in the streets. It's not always true. I could sit here and I've done it in other videos. I could show you stock after stock after stock after stock that either never recovered from 08 crash or went bankrupt after the 08 crash and everyone lost all their money. I can show you multiple sealed products and singles and slabs alike from vintage and mid-era that saw spikes during the boom. And anyone who bought in near the highs during the boom have never recovered their money in years and probably never will recover their money. Now, for all the people that were true believers and they got in back in like 2015 or 16, 17, 18 and held through the boom, they're fine. All those guys are fine, right? Anyone who bought into the hype though and bought in during the Logan Paul madness, they got crushed. And they're probably still crushed to this day. And they're holding on to that mentality. Well, if I just keep buying at these lows, eventually it's all going to come back and dollar cost average is going to save me. Well, you're waiting 3 years, 4 years already. You're still waiting, not seeing anything. It's like, and here's the thing. Even if at some point, let's say 5 years from now, you're right. And it does reach those levels. how many hundreds, if not thousands of percent gains have you missed out on in other items by not dumping it and moving it into something that has a lot better chance to grow, right? Like people holding, let's say people holding like a vintage slab or, you know, anything from 2021. If you would have sold that and threw it all into anything, Evolving Skies boxes, Fusion Strike, Chilling Reign, pick one. How much money would you be up already? You could sell, buy that same item back, and be left with just tons of money sitting there to make another play with. Like, you just can't. There comes a certain point with investing, you just can't catch up, right? Even if somehow you get your money back at some date in the future, you can't catch up, right? You work all that time to get back to even. Everyone else is light years ahead of you at that point. And so it does make sense to sell at the buy, even when things crash sometimes. That's not the case with 151, but it could be the case with other cards. Some of these waifu cards, some of these other boxes, other cards that went to the moon and back. It's not always the right thing to buy more when things are coming down, right? That's all I'm going to say about it. It's very dangerous advice a lot of people throw around. Yeah, and Jess, this is the way to be. Like, you know, Rudy Alpha Investments again said in his video, which is 100% right, is he doesn't have to be right. He just has to outlast everyone else. And that's what I actually joked about it in the Discord. It'd be so great if Pokemon investing was like a blockchain, and you could see everybody's entry points and everybody's exit points and how long they were in a product and how much they actually made. Because, oh man, it would blow up so many people's stories they have, right? Because everyone buys at the bottom and sells at the top, right? Everyone's going to hold long term. Everyone's holding forever, right? What I find, though, is a lot of people, they sell. You watch, they sell. A lot of people have already sold Evolving Skies. A lot of people are selling Fusion Strike or Chilling Reign, right? And they're the people that have said, oh, I'm going to hold for 5 years. And it's just, that's the way you win at this game. You outlast all the paper hands, all the people who, you know, they either can't hold, they have life events come up, or they get scared because they're up 20, 30, 50% and they got to sell, or, you know, they feel like they got to move their money from here to here and then back to here and then here to here and make all these plays. And they're really like the day traders or swing traders, but they call themselves investors. And that's all you got to do, Jess. As long as you're as long as you're actually in for the long haul, all this is just noise. This is all just noise, right? Whether 151s holds at 120, drops to 60, goes to 80, goes to 150, back down to 100. It's all noise, right? Come back 3, 4, 5 years. You don't even look at the market until then. All this won't even matter. You'll most likely be fine. And so that's the funny part is everyone gets wrapped up in the noise and the quick gains, the quick tendies. They're buying here, selling, buying, selling, buying, selling. And in the end, it's like, what'd you make? Like a few $100 here, maybe 1,000 there, $70. It's like, people don't think about that. They're too short-sighted and they're too fearful. So don't be like those people. Oh, let's see. Really, the play of Scarlet and Violet. Wait till these sets get hit hard. Yeah, they're hard to get. I agree. I've been saying that for a while now. Scarlet Violet's going to be way undervalued. This is another thing. Zach's right, and it's not to say like don't trust people who have stores, because a lot of those are good guys. Like, you know, we're talking about Pokey, he's a good guy. Like, but yeah, I mean, you always have to be weary trusting someone who's trying to sell you anything, right? I mean, why they have a motive, like they have some type of motive. They want to make money. Maybe it's not even like to try to scam you. It's just to say they really want it to be like valuable. They want it to hold up, and they truly believe in their minds it's going to. And so they're gonna pay attention to any good news. They're gonna block out any bad news, and they're gonna regurgitate everything they hear. And they're gonna really feel that way. So they're not doing anything wrong, right? But yeah, you always want to like listen to both sides, because you just don't know what, if a store is telling you one thing about a product they're selling, if it's 100% the truth. You don't take loose and make money in 4 years, Alex. When people are up 10K in 3 months, 2024, doing other stuff in Scarlet and Violet booster boxes. Come on, Alex. No risk, no reward. What? I don't really get that, but okay. I'm trying to understand what you're trying to say. I don't know. I guess like people making plays are better than holding. I don't know. Oh, okay. So wait 3 years. Yeah, I mean, as long as you wait, like I said, we just said about like Rudy, as long as you wait long enough, you will outlast all these people in the market, and eventually the product will get all worked out and the prices do rise, right? I mean, guys, the people saying to sell Evolving Skies right now, we just saw this with Team Up. We literally just saw this a couple years ago. Team Up rose to $700 a box, exactly the same price Evolving Skies is. Exactly. Not only that, we did an analysis. I did an analysis on the channel on a video. Evolving Skies has the exact same worth of cards as Team Up does in singles. If you add up every single in Team Up compared to every single in Evolving Skies Raw, Evolving Skies is worth pretty much the same amount as Team Up is, right? Everyone sell. Tell Team Up. Sell, it's overpriced. It got ran up too much. Team Up went from $700 to over $2,000. Now we're seeing with Evolving Skies, same stuff. Oh, it went stagnant. $700 is the ceiling. Sell, sell, sell. And, the weak people will sell it and, whatever, they'll flip it, whatever. And, odds are we're going to see the same type of thing. And everyone's going to be in disbelief and so flabbergasted. I can't believe this stuff goes up. It must be manipulated. What's going on? It's just, literally, it's like, it's just Groundhog's Day, guys. This hobby, it's the same stuff over and over. It almost gets like so repetitive. It's boring at this point. I don't care if it all skyrockets and crashes. It is what it is. I've had money and I've had no money. That's life. People need to stop pretending they're getting rich from this. Oh, that's the truth, man. That is the truth. I agree with Alex about alt arts. Alt art slabs are flying. Yeah, and that's another one right now. And I've already come out publicly and gave my position on that. And maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. I truly believe we have not seen the end of this alt art run. I don't think we're there. I think it's going to continue to run. I think we're going to see new highs on all these slabs and all these alt arts. A lot of them are just now reaching their 1 year highs. If not that, I think they have further to go. And, here's the thing, guys, like, people will share things in the Discord too about like, the vintage, proponents, like, man, they're seething right now. Like they are punching air. They are upset that this is happening with Modern. What I've said is going to happen for years now. They're still so upset. They're still in disbelief. Like, we had an Instagram story that someone shared. I'm not going to share the name of who it was, but someone shared their Instagram story of what they said. And it was along the lines of, I'm so happy all these idiot degenerates keep buying up these pop 10,000 Modern cards. It allows these vintage cards to continue to stay cheap so I can keep eating them up. And it's just like, it says some other things too, but it's like, you can just tell how angry people are that other people don't agree with the way they see the hobby or like the things they like. And instead of, changing your mindset and looking outside, it's just get angry at people, call them stupid, say that they're not smart enough, they're not as smart as you, and eventually enough people in the hobby are going to be as smart as you, and they're all going to like the things you like. And it's a very bad mentality to have. It's a fallacy that a lot of these people are buying into, because they live and die by the population reports. And if you live and die by the population reports, just be prepared that you could die by the population reports. Just understand that if you live by the sword, you can also die by the sword. So that's what a lot of people are just holding on to so dear right now is the supply. It's all the supply. It's like, dude, the supply is one factor of the whole market and economy in this trading card space. And you can't talk any sense into them. And so you just have to let them spew their stuff, laugh, and move on. What do you think Charizard UPCs blow up and when they will settle next? I think they'll probably reach like 150s this year, if I had to guess. Like that's pretty conservative, I think. Especially as like all these packs continue to rise in value and all the sets get bought out. I just think the packs inside alone plus the promos are gonna end up being worth that much, and it's just gonna push that product up. I wouldn't be surprised to see those in the 150s this year by the end of the year. That's just my prediction. Love the channel. Love your honesty. Appreciate you, Evergreen Fire. I've done the math in my head so many times, and truly, in order to make tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands off Pokemon, people need to spend that amount. Exactly. That's all it is. But here's the problem. Usually the loudest voices on the internet, on YouTube, in the Discords, on the online forums, Instagram, it's mostly, not all the time. There's whales out there that also, scream at the top of their lungs, right? There's Rudies out there. A lot of the time, though, it's the people with the least amount of products. Like, they're the ones that have like a few of each box. And they're like, they're telling it like, they got freaking, pallets of this stuff. Guys, I've talked about it. I'm no whale. Like, if everything overnight in Pokemon doubled right now, I'd be happy. At this point, I wouldn't say it would like be life-changing money, but it would help our financial situation. Yeah, for sure. But it's like, people act like, oh my gosh, if the market doubled, I'm going to be rich. It's like, okay, well then you were already rich, right? Like you already had $1 million because it doubled. Now you have 2 million, right? Or like, because if you have 10 grand, you only got 20, right? If it doubles, you only got 20. If it goes up 5x, well, now you got 50 grand. Like, cool, I'm happy for you, but people are acting like they're getting wealthy out here. It's like, man, it's kind of funny. It's almost like people who buy like one share of Apple stock, right? Or they get on like one of these other trading platforms and they buy like fractional shares of companies. Like, I'm going to buy like a point something percent of Microsoft and a point something percent of Tesla. It's like, all right, man. Tesla goes up 10 points. I made like $8, And so, yeah, I mean, that needs to be said more often. Is everyone is so over exaggerative in this hobby. It's kind of funny. Let's see. Ray's always here to hate, but that's why we love him. That's why we love Ray. Is you got to have haters. You got to have people here to hate. Hey, Alex, are you pre-ordering cases of TM, Twilight Masquerade? Yeah, I always do, right? I always do. So I always pre-order cases. I always keep some in case something crazy does happen and it does fly up, or in case there are no reprints. And I always like to have some for early openings. So like right now, I worked out a deal this time with a local shop. Sorry, Eli. I didn't order from Eli this time because Eli he can't get them to me fast enough. Nothing against him or his company. It's just, I want to have them a little quicker for openings. But my local shop, I'm going to be able to get them on Monday. So the Monday before release, I'm going to have them in hand. So I'm thinking about doing like a special Monday opening. Now, remember how it works. Remember, we got to get around the Pokemon guidelines. I'm going to sell them as pre-release, right? So I'm not going to be able to ship you your cards until Friday because that's the rules. But I'm gonna try to have a box break, hopefully that Monday, of Twilight Masquerade before the set's even released. So anyone that wants to get in on that, you can. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to get product really early, which is nice. Yeah, 100%. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Like I said, when your opinion starts to progress into, again, not attacking the issue but the person, that's where it goes too far, right? Like that's where I can't have that stuff happening on my Discord because it just turns off the general public. And I don't want the way the Discord was before. Was there was like 5 people talking and there was like 700 or 800 members and everyone was afraid. I even got messages. People like, yeah, I'm kind of afraid to talk in your Discord because I don't want to get attacked and I don't want to get people to jump on me and I don't want to be called, all these names. I'm like, okay, this is a problem. This is a problem. And if I allow that, even if it's to me, it's like, it sets a precedent that's okay. And so it just got to stay on subject. It can't get about anyone in particular, like as a person, and you're good. Everything else is permissible. And we do. And we have tons of people that, we have vintage collectors investors. We got, tons of Japanese collectors investors. There's modern sealed, there's modern singles, modern slab people. There's a little bit. I mean, there's people that don't even do a lot of Pokemon. Like they're in the One Piece chat all day long. We got crypto and stock market people. It's just like there's definitely a mixture of everyone in the Discord. It's just, and the guys, people are way overblowing the whole banning thing. There's like 800 people almost in that Discord now. Less than 10 have ever been banned. Right? Like it's such a small amount of people. It's the people who go too far. Like if it was like a widespread issue, Alex is banning everyone. It's like, it's literally people where after I banned it, people reached out to me. They're like, oh my God, thank you for stopping that. It was getting so annoying. It was, I didn't want to talk when that person was talking because I would get, attacked for saying something. And so that's all it is. That's all it is. If you are speaking your mind about your opinion on something in the hobby or investment related or anything like that, you're never going to get banned. It's whenever you take it past that point and say about an actual person, it's over. Alex, I asked you and Eli about price difference between booster boxes and auxiliary packs and Sword and Shield. Same question, another way. Well, booster boxes are always, as time goes on, they're always going to be at a higher valuation than anything else because the sealed nature of that product carries the value. Auxiliary products are basically only valued at the cost of the packs and the promos if they are inside. Sometimes they have a little bit of a premium, like an ETB, like you'll see, or some box will have a small premium, but they're never going to have a premium like packs in a booster box. Is that what you're asking? What is your best approach for collecting, investing, especially sets with ETBs not showing any growth or sentiment? How would you recommend someone shop? Christopher, I'm going through a lot of analysis right now in my own head and on the market. I'll probably release a video on it eventually. I'm very unsure. It's getting close to me saying that even the best specialty sets are not going to be good investments. It's getting that bad. If in the next, and it's not anything yet, but if it's in the next, I would say 2 to 3 years. If in the next 2 to 3 years, we're still not seeing growth on any of the ETBs from Sword and Shield through Scarlet and Violet, I'd say it's a problem, right? Because all the booster boxes are all moving. The ETBs on specialty sets, no matter how strong the sets are, we have Crown Zenith, we have 151. Like if these sets do not do it, we're in trouble. We're in trouble, right? I'm not there yet. I still have high hopes for 151 and Crown Zenith. And so I'm still holding all of that. I still invest in it. It's just I'm watching it very closely, right? Because we've talked about it before. I was a 95% vintage investor before 2020. Pretty much everything I bought was vintage before I started moving to modern, right? I saw the market sentiment and everything shift, and that's why I switched what I focused on. Shifts can happen in these markets, and we could be in the middle of one, right? We've already shifted out of ETBs being good. We might be shifting out of like even specialty sets being good investments in English. It's just the way it is. Like, not saying it is yet, not telling anyone that it's not going to perform yet. Next 2, 3, 4 years, it's really going to tell us though. And it's just, it's dangerous during these times when we're trying to figure out if that's going to happen. And I don't have an answer for you. But it is getting a little concerning that even the good sets, we're not seeing the growth that the good booster box sets are. So it's a little concerning. That's all I'm saying. Don't read too much into that, guys. We're still in the early stages to really decide what's going on. But I think once some of these sets are 4, 5, 6 years old, we're really going to be able to get to tell. If you had to guess what the reprint schedule looks like, what would you say, Alex? I'd probably say Paldea is probably going to be coming up next because it's getting older and it's rising the most. And I'd probably say 151, probably late, maybe like by Christmas time. I'd say like probably Christmas time we might see those two sets. I don't see any other English sets getting reprinted right now. That's just my personal opinion. Those two are the only ones that even have a chance. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to skim through the questions and get anything that anyone was like actually asking me, and trying to skim through what you guys were chatting with each other about. It's not as easy as you think. It's not as easy to go through these chats and really pick out the good questions. Like, and here's the thing: like, I'm never trying to dodge anyone's question. If you think that, if I skip yours or leave it again, I'm sure I'll get to it. It's just there's so much coming in that I'm just trying to pick the good ones. So don't think that I'm not trying to keep you down or dodge certain people. If I miss yours, it's truly just a oversight. That's it. But for those that are planning to buy cases of 151 Japanese, I don't recommend, since One Piece is a clear shiny shot at 100% gain to each set. Yeah, I do think this. I think Pokemon does print too many sets per year. I think that would actually help the growth of each set. It would help, kind of keep people on each set longer and collect each set, and it would just allow more the organic nature than we see with just so much being released all the time. It's hard to ever have enough focus on any one thing. And yeah, I agree. I think they need to slow stuff down. It worked back when everything was in the crazy boom. Now that things are kind of calmed down, I don't know if it's really the play anymore. But Pokemon's doing what they think's right. It's no one's business why someone buys something. Stop pocket watching and worry about you. People that get mad about that stuff are mad they didn't do it first. What do you think about the next big set to not get reprinted and to soar in price eventually? Just your honest opinion, not expecting a legitimate fact. I don't know. I mean, I don't think base set will get a reprint, but at the same time, I don't think that's going to soar. I don't know. Maybe Paradox. Maybe Paradox will stay cheap enough, long enough, and Pokemon will just think it's too cheap to reprint, but it's actually a somewhat strong set. Maybe something like that, or if Temporal doesn't get reprinted. It would have to be a set that's actually somewhat strong that stays cheap for too long and they just don't reprint it. But I just don't know if Base or Obsidian Flames is strong enough to where even if it doesn't get a reprint, I don't know if it's going to soar. What's soaring? Right? 200 plus, you know what I'm saying? So maybe Paradox Rift, if I had to guess one. Paradox Rift could be a, kind of the dark horse. What's your thoughts on the new wave of Chilling Reign ETBs? I didn't really know about it, but yeah, I mean, if you can pick them up and they're a good price, I don't even know if Chilling Reign ETBs are really worth that much in the open market. Is it a good play? ETBs, guys, I'm just not a fan of ETBs. So if there's a play there, if there's arbitrage, I get it. I'm just not a fan of ETBs or loose packs. They can be good. It's just, it's not where I'm headed. So, I don't really have a huge, strong opinion on them. Oh man, you guys with your free speech talk. People need to stop pretending free speech is a good thing. There can be negative consequences. This guy doesn't like free speech. Oh man. Yeah, so Jester, this is the thing. We do that shit with my friends. Yeah, it's all cool when you're with your buddies, right? It's all cool, all shit on each other. But it's not cool when you're in a hobby where there's there's 9,000 something people subscribe to this channel, and a portion of them all find their way to the Discord, and they're not all your buddies, and they're not all cool with getting shit on, and they're not all cool with getting called names and beat up on every time they say something. That's the problem, because it ends up looking bad on me because I'm allowing it to happen in something that like I own and I run. So that's the issue you have to think about. Like, it's not all fun and games. Like, look, hey man, if it's not my Discord, I don't care, right? Say whatever you want, but like, I'm not. You have a responsibility, right, to others, not to myself, but to others, to make it a safe place, a fun place for everyone. Do you think the future, the SMV SIRs could be cheaper version? The alt art of the Source Shield era might be being overlooked as an investment opportunities. Yeah, I agree. I've already been buying SIRs to full transparency. I've already graded and kept, and I've also even bought out some PSA 10 SIRs that I felt were just going way too cheap and made sense to buy, because I'm like, okay, if the card costs, $15 and it's $15 to grade, and I can find this at auction at $40, what am I doing? It's a PSA 10. It's like almost the same cost as buying raw and grading myself and taking the risk. And so yeah, I've already been putting away some illustration rares and SIRs as PSA 10s, because again, look, we can all call me an idiot in the future. It'll be fun. We'll have a party. We'll all talk about stupid Alexes. It'll be fun, right? Everyone can we can take it off the Discord. You can all come in the comment section and you can all bash me in a video. And it'll be like a roast. It'll be good. But in the event that I'm right, it's going to look really good, because I think everyone right now is so down on Scarlet and Violet, and they are missing plays that are right in front of their eyes. And I think the sentiment is going to change, and people are going to start liking it and enjoying and appreciating Scarlet and Violet. And that's my opinion. So there it is. We'll see what happens, right? So I'm not on TikTok, but I hear there's good deals there. Is there any reputable sellers on there? Yeah, there are reputable sellers. A lot of the deals have went away at this point. A lot of the coupons aren't coming anymore. TikTok's starting to raise fees on sellers, which stops them, because the reason they were able to offer such good deals is TikTok had a massive marketing budget that they were using to steal business from Amazon and eBay and the other big platforms. And so they were giving these massive coupons that the sellers didn't have to pay. TikTok was footing the bill. And so sellers were able to list their products at normal price, but because of the coupons, people were getting them way under market. And then on top of that, sellers weren't really paying any fees or very low fees. And so they were able to list items even lower. And so the prices so now the fees are starting to catch up, right? Just like the whole eBay vault moving to PSA, fees are catching back up. And TikTok's marketing budget is what it used to be. They're not having as many coupons. So it seems like that whole TikTok play is going away at this point, but there still are deals there here and there. And yes, there are reputable sellers that sell on there. There are big stores, big actual LGSs that sell on there. So you quit your job 6 months ago, right? How's it been going? Is it what you expected, better or worse in some ways? So I love it so far. Is it what I expected? No, it's not what I expected. When I quit, I actually dove in really deep to the grading side, and really up in the business. Like I said, I was grading hundreds and hundreds, I don't know, maybe thousands of cards if I'd added it up. Selling a lot. I shared my eBay sales. I went from selling barely anything to I had my sales up to almost $50,000 in my 90 day sales. Everyone show sales, right? Oh, he did 50 grand in sales. He's rich. Guys, anyone showing you that crap, you don't know what they're making profit margins. Luckily, my profit margins are pretty good because, I was grading the right stuff. The stuff I was grading happened to be rising in value. It was all modern mostly. And so, it was going good, but I just didn't like that grind as much as the content grind. And so my business model has really shifted a lot more to the content side. I still do a lot of the selling. I still have multiple orders of PSA right now. I still grade. but I've been shifting things around. So it's always evolving, but I do love it, right? You know how it is, guys. I hated having a boss. I hated getting told what to do, when to wake up, when to be at work, when to do this, when to do that. I mean, I'm not that kind of guy. Also, I am not Mr. Consistent. Like, I know I've been super consistent this month. I've really been putting a lot of work into posting content every day, but I'm not the kind of person that like, okay, I'm going to wake up at 7. I'm going to do this A, B, C, and D. I'm going to hit the gym. I'm going to eat. I'm going to do this work, and I'm going to do that. Every one of my days is different. Sometimes I'll film multiple videos. Sometimes I won't even film. Sometimes I'll search for inventory and I'll buy it. Sometimes I'll list stuff. Like, every day is different. I don't have a schedule. I don't try to be, I mean, you know, even if I have a bunch of stuff to list, sometimes I won't list it for weeks. I just don't feel like it. Then maybe I'll take all day and I'll just sit at my computer literally for like 10 hours that day and list everything in one day. Like, it's real sporadic. It's a lot more sporadic work than a normal 9 to 5. I'll say that's the one thing I'll say. And I like that. I enjoy that. Hidden Fates, long-term play. I mean, I think it's kind of got its movement out of the way in this trading range. I think it is probably going to hit new highs here soon. I could see Hidden Fates reaching 200 plus, but as far as like long-term, I don't know if it's going to be the great. It's went through a lot of its rising already, so I don't know how much room there is. I mean, I think it's a great collection pickup at the current price. There's a chance that those ETBs will never be less in the future. It's just I don't know how much meat on the bone there is for an investment purpose still on Hidden Fates. Thoughts on taking profit on some Sword and Shield alt arts while prices are moving up? Once everyone gets the ones they want, I feel like they will regress. Hey, Matthew, I mean, everyone's different. Like, I'm holding all the alt arts I have. I own, I don't know, probably 90% of the alt arts out there in Sword and Shield. So I own most of them. I'm not selling any of them. That's where I should say they're all PSA 10s, right? So I don't know about like the raw or the 9s, but I see a good future for 10s. They're just so scarce on the market. Here's what you have to ask yourself, okay, guys? Here's what people don't ask themselves, right? And this may not be you, Matthew. I'm not, you know, look, whenever things reach to where you saw them going and you're happy taking the profits and you have somewhere else to put that money that you feel is going to do better, go for it. But here's how I see it. The market has moved up so much, right? We've seen such high market moves on these alt arts, and still you see none available, right? Look at TCG Player, look at eBay for Raws, look at PSA 10s. There's very little available on these, like 10, 20, 30 on the entire market. Usually, when markets expand that much and they go up that quickly, people want to take profits like you're talking about. Why is no one taking profits on these cards that have multiple thousands in existence in pop reports, that have even more existence in raw? Where's all the supply at? That tells me the majority of people that own these actually want them. They actually want to hold them long term. They're not worried about, like I talked about before, the flipper mentality. They're not worried about ups and downs and, oh my gosh, I made $100. I'm going to take it. Or I made 70. I made 200. I made $300. I'm going to take it. I need to get my money. They're not worried about that, right? They want it for the long term. And so I'm confident in them. I mean, even though I own a lot of them, like portion of my entire investment in the hobby, portion of my entire net worth, like very small, right? So it's like I'm not like going all in, but at the same time, I'm not selling, right? So that's my thoughts. Again, I say this all the time, guys. I'm one person. I just happen to have a YouTube channel. Do not take my word as gospel. That's just how I feel. Some things I'm going to get right. Some things I'm going to get wrong. Up until now, I've gotten a lot more things right than I've gotten wrong. As long as I can continue to do that, I'm happy. I know I'm going to get things wrong in the future. As long as the things I get right perform really well and I get more right than wrong, that's all I'm trying to do. That's all investing is, right? So that's how I feel. We'll see how it turns out, man. If you sell yours, I understand that too. 100% get it. The only thing I would tell you is if you're going to sell, make sure you have a plan for that money. Like what are you going to sell for, right? Don't just sell and then say, what do I do now? That's the only thing I would say. I love this one. The future is unpredictable. What if all TCGs get banned due to waste of trees to make products and packaging? I think that would actually be better for the stuff that already exists, right? People would like want to grab up everything they could that of the dead things that no longer can be made, right? It almost cause more of a stir, I think. That'd be crazy. Some Bitcoin and crypto convo. I like it. I like it. I'm not big on the whole crypto stuff, guys. So, but I think there's a lot of smart people in the Discord that know a lot about it. So, if you guys are interested in any of the, like crypto stock market talk, there is a whole section of that in the Discord if you want to talk that stuff. As long as you don't need the money right now, I will keep my stuff sealed or my sealed stuff for a good time. I do quick flips more with singles. Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of always been, sort of the agreed upon method in this hobby and other hobbies is like, you buy up the new singles, you grade them, you flip them for profit, you put that profits into sealed product. Now before these new times, and everyone always thinks I'm lying about it, but in the times of the cabal, right? The accepted method always was you flip all the modern stuff for profits, you put all the money into vintage. So it's always kind of been the same mentality. You flip some stuff, you put it into stuff you believe in for long-term investment. And nowadays that's just, that's modern sealed product. Yeah, you guys are lucky up there in Canada, man. The stores aren't, I mean, I'm not going to say they're stupid up there, but the stores aren't stupid here, man. If the market price is whatever on TCG Player pre-release, they're not going to give it away to everyone for less. They're not stupid. Like, card stores don't just care about their little community that much. They're going to take that much loss. It's like, no, if there's money on the table, they're going to take the money on the table. Don gifted memberships as always. Thanks for being here, Don. Don, I got some fun stuff for the pack breaks. I hope I'm crossing my fingers it makes it here by Thursday. But I got some stuff you're gonna like, man. I got some stuff you're gonna like. Hey, I'm not back that far in the chat. I'm at 110. Oh crap. I am back 30 minutes in the chat. Okay, guys. I'm gonna start going faster. I gotta catch up to the chat. Gotta catch up. You just have to be lucky on your plays and hope it's what the Pokey Illuminati wants to favor. We are all in this for the ride. Oh, that's funny. Badly super. This is so true. So guys, this statement right here is exactly right. Pokemon Vintage reminds me of sports card vintage where only a few are desirable and the rest are a couple $100. That's how I see the future of vintage. There will be desirable cards from certain sets and certain eras that will be chased after that probably will see good games. The vast majority of it, it's just going to get overshadowed by everything else and people aren't going to go back for it. I don't care how low the pop reports are. It's not going to matter. And so you have to be really careful in what you're moving into, especially buying into those high valuations of vintage cards. Great comment, man. That's exactly right. Honestly, everyone should consider this a little hobby to do this a little hobby. Do not invest too much money or time in this. Live your life, do other things. There's so much in the world. Don't invest too much time-wise. Word. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing though. You would consistently be making more money in this than investing in a lot of other places. That's the issue. And that's where the conversation really gets down to the nitty-gritty of Well, is it a really good investment though? Like, should you be investing a lot of your money in it? Like, would you have been better off in life if you had have invested a lot of your money in it? And that's the issue, right? Like, I get what you're trying to say, and it's great. But the money you can make in this hobby is very real, and it can actually outperform other investments very, very greatly. And so that it's a hard conversation to have. Hi, Alex. The thing I believe that the market is fully manipulated in Sword and Shield, SM, and I guess Sword and Shield. I think you meant Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield. Okay, Sword and Shield will go down in some time. I hope that I'm wrong. What do you think? No, I don't think it's manipulated at all. What makes you think Sword and Shield's manipulated? I mean, a lot of these sets have taken 2 and 3 years to grow. Evolving Skies, like I said, the value of the cards inside are the same as Team Up. The same exact value as the cards in Team Up. Team Up's $20, whatever, $100, $300, and or $2,000, and Evolving Skies is $700. So it still seems undervalued in my opinion. And all the other sets, like, what are they, like 150 to 250? That's like after 2-3 years of growth. That doesn't seem out of whack to me, right? That doesn't seem out of line. When you look at the Sword and Shield alt arts and how hard they are to pull, like they take you 500 to 800 packs to open. When you calculate the amount of money it costs to open that many packs, and then you take into account, well, these are only 2, 3, 4, 500, maybe $700 cards. The Moonbrion's out in space, but that's just one card. They seem kind of well priced, in my opinion, when you look at like how cards are priced in other card games. And so, no, man. I mean, to me, I'm looking at it objectively too. I have a hard time seeing manipulation. Now, I see manipulation in like a brand new sets, like when Morty's Conviction goes from $50 to $150. I can clearly see that's manipulation. But sealed booster boxes growing over the course of 2, 3, 4 years, that's normal movement in collectibles. That's my opinion. Equal to Evolving Skies? Nothing. Not yet. Maybe something will come. Maybe not, right? I don't see it yet. Less stressful to just buy it low and chill out. Absolutely. And here's the thing, guys. I did this calculation before, but this is what you're never going to hear from all the business and flipper channels, right? They're always going to talk about all this money they're making and how great it is and how stupid people are for sitting on product. They should be flipping and flipping and ripping and flipping and flipping, which my question to all those people always is, right, is, well, what do you invest in then? Are you investing in the stock market? Well, yeah. Oh, okay. So it's okay to take money off the table and not flip with that money and put it to work in the stock market, but it's not okay to take money off the table and put it in Pokemon product as an investment. That's wrong. You can only flip Pokemon. You can't invest in it, right? It's weird, but that's not the only thing, right? So Fusion Strike, I've talked about this before. Fusion Strike, right? 2 years ago, it was an $80 box. You could have bought it for $80, $4.80 a case on the open market, right? So here's the thing. A lot of these sellers, okay, they have large inventories. We're talking $75,000 to $100,000 plus sitting on their eBay and TCG Player pages that they're constantly wheeling and dealing, churning, burning, all that stuff, right? And so let me just show you how that works, right? I'm gonna share the screen. I have the Arceus up like I was looking at, but I'm gonna show you how ridiculous this is, but they don't think about it. Okay. So, not calendar, calculator. Okay. So if you would have just 2 years ago let go of all your inventory, all the stuff you're trying to wheel and deal and work every day, and you're talking about all the investors that you're beating their investments, all that stuff, and you would have just put it in to Fusion Strike ETBs, okay? Or ETBs, booster boxes. They went from $80 to $250, right? So $100,000 divided by $80, you could have bought 1,250 of those booster boxes, okay? You multiply 1,250 by 250, what they're selling for now, 312,000. And by the way, if you had bought those all in cases, they're going for a case premium. It'd be more than this. So you would have made $212,000 over the course of 2 years. I'm willing to bet all those flippers that talk so negatively of investing are not making 100,000 plus in profits per year. Willing to bet. Guys, you have to wait. I got someone at the door. Give me 1 second. Someone's at the door. Got it? My wife got it. All right, let me get back to this. All right. So if 100 grand that those people are letting sit in inventory, whether they have orders at PSA, they got slabs, singles, whatever they have listed on their accounts, right? If they would have liquidated all that, just threw it all in the Fusion Strike and just put their feet up every day, right? And just watch TV and did absolutely no work. No looking for deals, trying to catch auctions, trying to wheel and deal with people on eBay and TCG Player and Buy and all these places and buying and selling and grading and buying collections and breaking them down and all the BS and working every single day. They could have made over 100 grand a year in profit just literally sitting on the product. That's it. They're never going to tell you that, though. They're never going to admit they were wrong. And I guarantee you a lot of those people cannot produce statements showing that they made 100 grand in profit. They'll show you sales. They'll be happy to show you sales numbers, right? They'll show you, I sold 300 grand. Okay, so did you make 33 and third profit? Did you make 35% profit a year? No. Okay, so you made less than what you would have done investing in Fusion Strike, right? Correct. And so that's one thing you guys have to remember is flipping can be great, but it's not always the end all be all. Investments can actually outperform flippers. It can do it. Not saying it always does, but it can. I know a lot of people who have 50 to 100 grand in inventory always listed on their stores, and they're working every single day, and they do not clear 6 figures. It's the truth. It's the truth. I know. It sucks when numbers always ruin the party, doesn't it? Numbers always ruin the party. Screw numbers. Investing's bad. Flipping's good. Trying to figure out how much my budget I want to put towards vintage. Do we feel like it has hit its ceiling and could be a bad investment? Perhaps it's best for just personal collection. It's ceiling? You mean it's it's ceiling. Some cards, right? Like the stupid meme ones, like a PSA 9 base set Charizard selling for $7 grand. Yeah, that probably hit its ceiling, right? Or like, the first edition Jungle Pikachu, selling for hundreds and hundreds or whatever, 1,000, whatever it went for. Yeah, those have probably hit their ceilings. But no, there's other, actually sought after rare cards. So they're not just rare and low pop reports. They're actually sought after. They're popular Pokemon. They're very rare. They're from eras where a lot of people still enjoy, whatever it may be. There are still parts of the vintage market that I think do have a potential. I think there's better plays, but if you're like wanting to collect it as well as like it be a good, store of value that can rise over time. Yeah, I think there's a lot of places you can still put your money in vintage that can rise over time and be a good store of value and also be a good collection piece. Just stay away from the stuff that was pumped the hardest and memed the hardest. Like there's a chance that the Lugia from Neo Genesis isn't worth 100 grand again. There's that possibility, right? There was so much ridiculousness that happened during that time that it's hard to look at the charts and data, right? That's what makes it so hard to invest in that stuff. Is it makes it hard to look at the charts because you really don't know if that's going to be a thing, or you don't know if it's going to get back to there. Where a lot of people will say, "Well, it did it before, it could do it again." It's like those were different circumstances. But no, there are still plays in vintage for sure. Yo, am I here the only one person which looks at temporal forces and thinks, "Give me 3 years and it will be..." Yeah. I'm with you there. Love temporal forces so far. I think the hit rates are fixed. I still like them to be a little harder, like have some sort of higher rarity, but they are fixed. They are harder than the other sets have been, and with the SIRs, which I like. And I think there's a lot of good hits. I think it's a deep set. I'm with you on temporal forces. I like it. Any tips for balancing, collecting, and investing? I find it somewhat stressful to keep things sealed because I want to open it all. Man, I mean, if you want to collect a card, buy it. Like 100% of the time, buy it. It's unless you're just the luckiest freaking person on the face of the earth, like play the lottery, you're not going to open the cards you want. Like you are sometimes with enough packs, but usually it's going to be best just to buy the card you want and then invest in the sealed product. Now, look, if it's part of your entertainment budget each month, you're like, I just want to be entertained. I don't want to go out to a concert. I don't want to go see a movie. I want to open Pokemon. Open it. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. At least at the end of that, you have some value left no matter what you hit, compared to having just like a, memory of how bad that movie was and how stale the popcorn was at the end of the movie, right? Or, at the concert, how you couldn't see over the big guy's head in front of you. Like, at least you have something left over after opening a Pokemon box. So, yeah, I'm cool with that. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm kind of holding off for that too. If Celebrations doesn't make a move, then I'm probably gonna have to dump Celebrations. Unfortunately, sad times. I had higher hopes for Celebrations. Had higher hopes. Hey, I see you keep asking this. I don't know what this is. I have no clue what this is. I know you've asked it multiple times and I've been skipping it. I have no clue. What is Thug Solo YGO? I don't know what that is. Is it a new anime? Like I have. Sorry guys, I'm out of the loop. I have no clue what that is. Dad, can I be your girl? Oh geez. So. Is that whole thing a meme? Are you memeing me? I don't know. Thug Solo YGO. I don't know what that even means. Let's see. Interesting to watch Crown Zenith play out as someone who is going into 151. Crown Zenith is like a year preview. Yeah, I think everyone's eyes is kind of on Crown Zenith to see how it performs, because it's the strongest set in Sword and Shield specialty sets that got reprinted. And so I really want to see if that can perform. That's really going to tell me a lot. When's Steve coming? Missing that guy. You know what? I'm missing that guy too. I agree. We need to get Steve back. We need to get Steve back. Alex needs a mod to assist with selecting good questions from the chat. Uh-oh, getting into the mods now. We're getting into mods now. I'm scared of mods. Alex, what's the best way to contact you? Yeah, email works. nostalgianomics@gmail.com. Or yeah, on my Discord, you can private message me for sure. Any way you want. Yeah, Evolving Skies ETVs, I know. Like, again, they have a small premium to them, but basically they're just worth what 8 individual packs are worth with a little premium stacked on top. I mean, it just seems like booster boxes are the only things that hold a good premium anymore. Anyone who took the jab doesn't like free speech and freedom. I did not take the jab. We did not take the jab here. You guys got to remember, man, I live in Missouri. When everyone else was wearing masks everywhere, I didn't even wear masks anywhere, right? We'd walk, we'd go into Walmart and they'd hand you one, and I'd just go, no thanks, and I'd just walk past them. no one would ever say anything. So nah, none of that stuff. And I'm cool. I'm good with. I love free speech. It's just like when it's a reflection on me in my Discord. And I have. Look, guys, I probably had 20 to 30 people reach out to me in a span of a short amount of time, complaining about the Discord, complaining about getting attacked. Telling me I needed to do something. Sending me screenshots of what people said. Like, it got bad. I had to take action. I couldn't just allow that to go on in there, right? I mean, it's one thing to have free speech in the world. It's a different thing to have like this community that's all based on like my image, my brand on my channel. I couldn't have that going on in there. Because I mean, dude, guys, it got dark. I mean, we're talking like, it got real political. It got bad. I'm not even gonna go into it. It got bad. It had to be done. I stand by everything I did. Right here, Sparrow. Exactly. Okay, does the poor quality of Scarlet Violet era even mean bigger gains for PSA 10s in the future compared to what we see? Yes, absolutely. So just like in XY, right? It's kind of why people don't understand XY, why they're like, Alex, why is this box, why is Ancient Origins $900 and the cards aren't worth near as much as the $900 boxes in Sun and Moon, or like what Sword and Shield alt arts are worth? It's because the value is all on the PSA 10s. And it's because they're so much harder to grade. And so you'll have cards that sell for like $80, $90 in a 9, but they go for like 5, 6, 700 as a 10. And I don't see Scarlet Violet being that crazy, but I do see it being different than Sword and Shield, right? Whereas like a Moonbryon sells for what, like $900 right now raw, which is crazy to say. But the PSA 10 is only worth like $1,200, $1,300, where there's a very little disparity between the raw and the 10. Whereas when you go back to like look at a lot of XY or even Sun and Moon cards, there's a lot wider gap between the 9 and the 10. I do expect that to be a thing in Scarlet and Violet, just not as wide a gap, right? So maybe like it's double or triple, maybe some are quadruple, but I don't see them being like 10x or anything like that, or like 8x even. But yeah, that will be a thing because look, like it or hate it, people do chase PSA 10s. They want those pristine cards in the PSA 10 case, and they will pay premiums for it over getting a near mint copy on the market with white marks and print lines and all that other stuff. And so yeah, Tyler, I'm definitely on board with that, and I think that wholeheartedly. The only thing that could hurt is if Scarlet Violet, all the sets get reprinted and all the new print runs are all great quality and it's like back to Sword and Shield quality, that will hurt. If they get reprinted and the quality is still crap, it's going to be fine. So it's all speculation at this point, though. There's so many variables we don't know, and so it's scary, right? Just tread lightly with anything you're doing in Scarlet Violet right now. But at the same time, the people who do buy in early and get ahead of it and they guess right, they're the ones that make the most when things move. So it's like, higher risk, higher reward. That's all it is. Is it worth selling Iron Crown EX? I am. That actually at the door, that was my PSA order, I think, which I do have an Iron Crown in that order. That's going to get auctioned off immediately. So that tells you where my mindset is. Yeah, a lot of smaller shops left TikTok when they slowed down the coupons. Guys, look. This goes beyond Pokemon. This is the world right now, okay? Everything is being contracted. The whole middle class disappearing, that's a thing, right? And it happens in business, it happens in the world, it happens everywhere. And so what's happening is the big guys get bigger, the small guys get squeezed out. Because what the big guys can do is they can afford the higher fees. They can afford lower margins. They just they'll find cheap labor. They'll cut their costs. They work huge deals with suppliers so that they can get everything cheaper, whether it be pay less fees than everyone else on the platforms. They can maybe they get shipping materials cheaper. They ship cheaper. They get their products, their Pokemon cards cheaper. They do everything cheaper. And even if they're not making a lot of margins, they just do it at a large enough volume to still be able to get by and squeeze all the little people out. And then when all the little people are out, then they can raise their prices. So it's the Walmart model, right? Walmart moves into town, charges less for everything. All the mom and pop shops, they all die off. Then Walmart raises the prices. And it's just like that in everywhere throughout the world. And that's business. It's the way it is. And so just like with the whole eBay vault thing, right? PSA is going to take the vault. They're going to charge higher fees for everything. Everyone who was making money off that eBay vault service and surviving and doing well, they're all going to get squeezed out and they're going to have to adapt or die. And it's just the way it is, guys. And, the only thing certain in life is uncertainty. And so you got to be willing to adapt at all times. That's how this hobby is. Either grow and become one of the big guys and take massive risks, or be able to constantly adapt your business model. Because the one weakness the big guys have is they can't pivot as fast, right? And so when you find new like avenues, new things to do, when you're small, you pivot right away. You can do it tomorrow. Big guys, they gotta rearrange their structure, hire, train their employees and make sure all the systems are in place. It takes them longer to do things. And so that's the one thing that people have over the big guys is they can adapt, they can pivot quicker, and they can take advantage of things before the big guys jump in. And you just got to kind of keep running from thing to thing and making money while you can. It sucks, but it's just kind of the way it is. You know, it's the way it is. Why are some of the best alts impossible to pull? Probably by design. You know, it's Pokemon wants there to be a chase. You know, and that's part of it. Let's see, where am I? Man, I'm still not caught up. All right, guys, I'm gonna go for another 10 minutes or so. So any last minute questions you want me to touch on, leave them right now in the chat, and I'm gonna scroll down and I'll start taking them. So if I missed your question, feel free to leave it again, and let me know. No, I don't factor in Nintendo stock on the New York Stock Exchange. It trades OTC anyway, over the counter. I don't even think it's on a major exchange. And Nintendo, like, there's so many more things wrapped up in the Nintendo and even the Pokemon name than just the cards, right? There's just Nintendo is such a huge conglomerate. I just don't think it plays a big enough factor, honestly. How we feeling about Darkness Ablaze, man? It's like one of the weakest sets in history, dude. It's crazy. Not this week, man. Last week did me in. I was on Poke Office. I was on Flower City Cards. I had my live. I had my box break. Like, I was live for like 8, 9, 10 hours last week. So, not this week. I'll try to have a guest next week, though. I'll have a guest next week. Yeah, it was great questions, too. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed being on there with those guys. That was a fun convo. If you guys didn't catch it, Flower City Cards. They got a YouTube channel. They're getting going, and I was on for a live stream, so make sure to check them out. Question. Do you think Lost Origins will sold out in PC? When do Brilliant Stars do sold out too? I think it's any day now. Could be tomorrow. Could be next week, next month, next few months. I don't see any of those being in stock after this year. And so, in my opinion, I think all of those boxes are going to sell out. I think they're all going to be $200 at least a box by the end of the year. That's my opinion. My take on Pokemon Go? Dude, okay. I love the set. Like, not like love. It's not like my favorite set. I actually like the set, right? I like how it's, it's got the Charizards, Blastoise, Venusaurs, and Pikachus, and a lot of the original 151 Pokemon. I like the hits. I like the Mewtwo hit. I even like that Conkeldurr, that card that Cool Trainer Ryan's trying to pull. I even like that card, even though it's got no value. I picked it up at a PSA 10, by the way. I have that card just because I like it. I think it's good for what it was. I mean, it was more along the lines of like a Detective Pikachu set, not really like a full-on specialty set. So in terms of that, I think it did well. I mean, it was pretty good. Kind of like how it was like Double Crisis back in XY. It was like Detective Pikachu, and then like in Sword and Shield, it was like Pokemon Go. So it's like technically, yeah, it was like a full-on specialty set, but I don't think it was meant to be like on the scale of like a Celebrations or a Hit or a Crown Zenith. So I think it did good for what it was. I think if it was released closer to 2016, it would have done extremely well. If that was released back in like 2017, 18, 19 during XY, I think it would have popped off. I just think it got released at the wrong time. Just the wrong time. And yeah, it could have been much better. I mean, it is pretty, pretty short set. It's not, small set. It's not a lot going on. There's a few good hits. That's about it. It just is what it is. A lot of people focus too much and they suppose manipulation instead of focusing on things they can control. Make good choices, place your money right, you'll be fine. Yeah, I do think manipulation gets thrown around a lot. I think in this case it was worth it to put manipulation in this video because I try not to clickbait too much, but there is definitely some sort of manipulation going on. I mean, Japanese, sellers confirming they're going to sell all these stores at a certain price. And then like a rug pull overnight, they switch it all and say, no, we're not going to sell to you at that price. And they all say, well, we already sold to all of our customers at that price. And they say, well, we don't care. And it's like, that's kind of manipulative. That's manipulative. But yeah, I mean, it definitely gets thrown around too much when it's talked about a lot of other things in the hobby. I agree. In your opinion, what are the most important factors that go into the future prediction forecasting of a set's success? Top chase, top 10, card values, box art, low print, a little bit of all that. I mean, box art, a little bit. Yeah, definitely top 10 cards values, like the value of the whole set. The Pokemon that are the top chases, are they Pokemon that people actually want to chase after, right? Yeah, the print's the biggest thing. The supply is always going to be the biggest thing. If it gets low print, doesn't get reprinted, becomes very scarce, that's going to really be big for sealed product, even if the set isn't as strong, because you could have an insanely strong set, and if it gets printed into the ground, well, look at Crown Zenith right now, right? Not performing, great set, printed into the ground. And so, yeah, I mean, Tyler, you're on the right track, man. All those things, just do the best you can with what you think you got. And, as long as you know what you're looking for in the hobby, you're going to do well, more times than not. So, yeah, I mean, all those things are things I look for as well. Do you think the Rainbow Pikachu and Dialga from Sun and Moon are underrated? Rainbow Lugia GX is going for so much compared to the other two. Man, I'm torn. I don't have a good answer for that. I don't have a strong feeling either way. Never really liked the rainbows. Starting to come around to the rainbows, sort of one of those things that when it's not there anymore, you start to like it for some reason. But at the end of the day, I'm still not like it's still just like a basic, like full artwork with a rainbow texture. I definitely like the alt arts and the illustrations and SIRs. Like I like those a lot more. But I'm not 100% convinced that rainbows won't become a thing. They were only there for 2 eras. They are the top hits. They are really hard to hit. And yeah, I mean, you're along the right lines, like, Pikachu and Lugia, like Palkia maybe, but like, yeah, sticking with the popular Pokemon that as in their top hits in the sets, they might do all right. It's unclear right now, but it's not a bad speculative play though. I know where you're coming from on it. I thought about the same thing. I'm just unsure right now. I'm really unsure. Yeah, I seen Pokéyas. Yeah, he reached out to me. We need to do a stream together. Me and Pokéyas need to do a stream together. I need to reach out to him. I get asked that a lot. Thoughts on grading and investing on PSA 9s long term? Okay. When the disparity between the 9 and the 10 is great, the PSA 9s make sense. When it's not, they don't, because they're less sought after, right? And so, like, for a lot of Sword and Shield alt arts, I'd rather have the 10s. When it comes to, like, XY, like I talked about, and if Scarlet Violet ends up being this way, maybe. But, like, XY, like, let's say a card, let me make sure, like, I'm not talking in terms of the past, because I always remember these cards being a certain price when I last looked. Let me just make sure. Make sure I'm not telling a lie here. 1 second. So I guess they went up a little bit now. So this is one I was talking about before, but like this Mewtwo, this breakthrough Mewtwo, right? The secret rare, top hit in the set and the whole breakthrough set. It's a Mewtwo card. It's a secret rare. It's got all that going for it. The 9, it looks like they're starting to get listed in the hundreds now. This was in the $80, $90 range for the longest time. And there's odds are this auction might end under 100. Okay, so then when you go look at the 10 and see what it's selling for, and it's selling for like, $500. Yeah, so like, yeah, about around $480 to $500. And there's a lot of other cards in XY like that just one off the top of my head. It can actually make sense sometimes to buy the 9, right? And because your thought process has to be, what's more likely for that 9 to go from, $90 to $180, or from that 10 to go from $500 to $1,000? Because there comes a point where cards get so expensive, they get less liquid and less sought after. Like maybe that card goes from 5 to 6 to 7 to 8, and then people are saying $800, I'll just take the 9. And then the 9 will get ran up to a certain price point, say 160, 180, 200. People will say, Well, I guess the 10 makes more sense now, and it kind of has that teeter-totter effect back and forth. And so, yeah, when you can find cards that, you know, may have a low population report as a 10, or they're really high as a 10 and really low as a 9, there can be opportunity in the 9s, but it doesn't mean it's a rule, right? There's very few rules in this hobby. It's not a rule that 9s have to perform well, but we've seen 9s do good. I did a video in the past, I can always link it, where I compared all the vintage PSA 9s and how they performed during the boom. And a lot of those 9s, again, not a rule, a lot of PSA 10s perform better. A lot of the 9s in the same card. So if you took like, you know, I forget what cards I took, maybe like Shining Mewtwo, or I don't know. I took a lot of different cards, but you take like the same card in a 10 and a 9, and you trace it through the boom and through the bust. Some of the 9s actually saw higher percentage spikes and settled at higher percentage gains than the 10s did, right? Percentage wise. So 9s have actually outperformed 10s before, and they can, depending on when you get in and what the price disparities are when you get in. So no, I do like 9s in certain circumstances, for sure. Just got to the part of this being background noise at work. Hey man, I'm happy to help. Thoughts on Fusion Strike 3-pack blisters, Pokemon Center? Not a great place to park money, but $12.99 for SB on promo. Yes, I do like that. That card did get squashed back down after I made that video about it getting bought out, but it still goes for so much money in a 10, and people are always going to want to try to grade it. So I think that will help those blisters over time. I do like those blisters with the SB on and Fusion Strike for sure. I agree with you there. Can I pump Steam Siege? Guys, if you guys don't remember me and Eli back in the day, and we had like, I don't know, we had Echo base collectibles. I think like Northwoods came on. Like it was on Eli's channel. It was like for fun. We were like buying out Steam Siege cards to see what it would do to the market. It did absolutely nothing, but it was a good time. Steam Siege, man. Steam Siege has done good. You can't be upset with Steam Siege. What is it, like $300-$400 a box now? It's only like what, 8 years old? I mean, can you complain about 200-300% gains in 8 years? The S&P is barely up 100%. That's what I'm saying. It's the worst set in that era, and you're doing better in the S&P. I would too. We got to find out who this king of investing is, though. Once we find him, then we'll ask him to see his portfolio. If you guys find who the king is, we'll ask him. Maybe it's Rudy. If you were to buy alt arts, would you do it exclusively PSA 10s or near mint raws? I like 10s, and I also like buying raw copies to grade myself. And then when they get 10s, you already have a margin worked into them. You just keep them, and you're already up on your investment. So I like both. As far as like buying near mint, man, there's just so many unknowns with near mint, right? Like, first of all, you have to decide on who decides what's near mint. Is it like, well, that seems light play to me. No, it's near mint. Well, that looks like 7 or 8 quality. I thought it was like a 9 or a 10 quality, and it's just like there's so much of that going on. The near mint pricing's all over the place because people will see a near mint card end for like $150, and they're like, why do you have yours listed at 190? Because it's perfect. It's like a 10 candidate. Whereas the one that ended at 150, it had multiple white marks, whatever. It was like a 8-7 quality. And so there's all that going on. I just don't like to deal with it. It's not that you can't do good investing in raw, which you can. We've already seen it. People are doing great on raw cards in Sword and Shield. So do it. It's good. If you like to do it, do it. Like, I'm not against it. But like me personally, I like to keep things as easy as possible. And like, I like the transactions to be as least, talking back and forth to the person as possible. And so 10s are easy. You list them, you sell them, you never hear from the person again. That's my kind of transaction. So it's whatever you're looking for. Oh, Solo YGO is a seller who is responsible for mass buyouts of a lot of higher value cards and then relisting them much higher. Interesting. Okay, so that's what you guys were asking about. Yeah, I don't know about all that. I don't even know about all that. I didn't realize it was all one seller doing it. That's interesting, though. I'll pay more attention to that. For everyone thinking they're a genius for not taking the COVID shot, can you please remember that vaccines are not for you? They're for people who have ordered immune disease and cannot take it. All right. Guys, the vaccine conversation is crazy. I'm not gonna get deeper into that. I'm not getting deeper into that stuff. Too much. Do you think Pokemon like how do you say this? Coriodon and Moriodon? I don't know. I never say it right. Will become more collectible years to come. I think so. I bought them. I'm putting them away. I'm holding them. I'm still grading more. I like them. What's that hair look like? Uh-oh. I've done it before. Do I gotta show it again? All right, hold on. There it is, guys. There's the hair. Happy? We got the hair shot today. Shiny Treasures V is so cheap because the Japanese market is going through a bubble popping and everything is crashing. And it's similar to what happened in 2021 with the vintage market. It's just mass chaos, mass panic right now. You have a lot of money leaving that side of the hobby too, because a lot of people were there for free tendies. Now the free tendies are gone, so they moved on to something else, right? Whether it be crypto or now they're buying out English cards, they're buying out other things. Like people are in certain places for certain periods of time for free tendies. And that was what was happening for a while. Roger Federer, bro. You're going to compare me to one of the greats? No problem. I'll take it. I will take it. Thank you for that compliment. Free weights or machine? Oh, if you got to pick, it's free weights all day. If you got to pick one or the other, it's free weights, but it's kind of like peanut butter and jelly. You got to put them together. That's where you really get it, right? Because the free weights are going to build your strength and your power, and the machines are going to sculpt you, right? The machines are going to help sculpt. So both, man, both. Dude, I don't have a lot of Pokemon Go. I know people think I have a ton of Pokemon Go. I really don't. I sold a lot of it shortly after the release when I realized it wasn't going to be the play. So a lot of it was already gone. The little bit I did hold, I've little by little been either like trading it or selling it. I've been opening some in the box breaks. I don't have a ton of that stuff, guys. Yeah, it's not like people think, I don't think. Now they're saying dudes look nothing like Federer. Oh man, way to really, kick me back down after I was feeling good. Jeez. Man, the highs and lows of the YouTube chat. Brutal. All right, guys, we're going to call it there. That was a good chat. I think we got through what we needed to get through, talk about the things we need to talk about. I think everyone's ready to go out there and kill this market. Make their money. Good luck to everyone playing the Pokemon 151 thing. Good luck to everyone holding, everyone flipping it. Hope you don't get caught. I hope the reprint in May doesn't, do anything crazy. I just wish the best for everyone. I just wish the best. I never aim to try to manipulate things. I just always aim to, sort of protect people. Like, I don't know what it is. I've seen things like this happen before. Like, we've seen it happen with Hidden Fates. We've seen other sets run up really high and then get reprinted and then sit stagnant for a long time. And people always saying buy the dip, and they bought the dip and then they didn't. I'm not saying 151 is going to be that way, but be careful with everything being that way. A lot of people are saying that with like every Japanese set right now, or a lot of cards right now. Like, oh, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. Like, guys, not everything is buy the dip. 151, yeah, maybe, but like, there's a lot of like waifus that have really gotten deflated. A lot of other boxes that are really low. Just don't think everything is a buy just because it's low, right? Just don't fall into that trap. And I hope everyone gets a good price on 151. I know everyone's going to be, I know a lot of people are waiting for it. I hope everyone gets a good price on it. Just remember, you're never going to catch the bottoms. Maybe if you do start going in dollar cost average, buy some the next week, buy some the week after that, and just, try to get a good average. That way you're not like having to try to like pick like a stock picker in an exact moment, and that way you're not having to, worry too much there. So kind of maybe put a budget aside that you want to spend and split that budget up into like maybe 3, 4, 5 parts and do that. Because even if you buy on the way down and buy on the way back up, you might average out to something good. Or hey, if you really think you know what you're doing, you want to go all in and you think you got the bottom price, go for it. I wish you the best. I hope you guys kill it. As for me, I probably will be waiting if things really drop and blow up again and get back in that, I don't know, that $600-700 a case range. I'll probably be moving in. If it doesn't, maybe I miss out on this one. We'll see. But that's all I got, guys. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Happy Monday and happy collecting. We're out.